let's kick that slice once and for all. I know how frustrating that is when you step up to the tee, maybe a hole like this where it's a dog leg to the left. If you could keep it down the left side of the fairway, it's going to make a much shorter hole. You're going to get to that par 5 and 2. But what happens? That ball just leaks to the right side of the fairway. It goes a little farther than that gets in the trees. Or even worse yet, you start hitting balls into the water and out of bounds, and it really kills your score from that slice. Even more frustrating, the more you try to fix this, the slower your club head speed goes, the more the ball slices, and it feels like it's really, really frustrating. Well, I've got a surefire fix, and the root cause of what's actually causing that slice for every single player that I've ever seen. Now, let's get to this. Let's talk about what's really going on with the slice. And it's not what you've typically been heard. We all know to roll the hands and release that club face. We've all heard that. If that was going to solve this, then we'd already have solved it. So what do we have that's really causing this slice? Well, if I drag this club toward the target, I'm trying to swing toward this target out in the distance. And naturally, every single golfer, I did this, everybody I know does this when they very first start golf, they pull the handle toward the target. And the more I pull this handle, look what happens to the club face. The harder I drag the handle through contact, the more I accelerate this handle through contact, the more open that face gets. And what happens there, that ball starts way to the right. If you look at any beginning golfer, as they first hit their first few balls, I will bet a large amount of money those balls are going to the right. Well, naturally, because we're good athletes, we start to realize, I don't want to hit shots to the right. It's no fun hitting 45 degrees to the right. So we start to come over the top to start to get that ball going a little bit more to the left. So we still haven't learned to release that face. We're still dragging the handle through contact, but now we're coming over the top to get that ball starting more left, and then when it fades, it goes in the fairway. So because most people are good athletes, because we actually have better hand-eye coordination than we think, we're solving the issue of hitting to the right, but it causes the byproduct of hitting a slice. So what do we do to this? Number one, we have to realize the hands have to slow down through contact to let that club roll on over and for that face to release. If I feel like I'm dragging my hands through contact and really accelerating the handle of this club toward the target, there's nothing I can do to release this face. The good thing is, when I slow those hands down, I can release that club and the club can actually move a little faster. So even though my hands aren't going all that fast, the club head is accelerating and giving me a lot of club head speed. So even with pros, the hands are never moving more than 20 miles an hour, but that club head's moving 120 miles an hour. So here's what I want you to do. Let's do a couple practice swings, 5 to 10, where you get used to not moving the hands very much, but rolling that face on over. So in the backswing, I'm letting the face open up. In the downswing, I'm letting that face turn all the way on over till it's facing the ground. Do 10 or 15, just enough till you really feel like that face is going ahead and releasing. Now here's the cool thing. From there, what we need to do is get that ball to go straight to the left. It seems crazy, but this will kick the slice faster than anything else. So I'm gonna make a couple little mini swings here, and I'm gonna get that ball to start out just dead left. It's really gonna close down that club face. Now the only way I can do this, again, is to slow down the hands and let that face roll on over. So if I do this properly, it looks something like this. And that ball just shoots out low into the left, directly darts off to the left. Now I would go even more, but I don't want to hit these houses over there. If I was to make harder swings, I would start hitting those houses. If I'm working on this in the driving range, that's exactly what I would do. I would just let that face completely turn on over. I'd hit these trees, I'd hit those houses over there, and I'd really get that face closing down to get rid of that slice. Now, obviously, that's not going to be the shot that we want to have, but that gets to the root cause of the problem. The root cause of the problem is me dragging the handle through, which keeps the face open. I fix that now by slowing the handle down and releasing that club face to get the ball going to left. Now, you're ready for the second part of this, which is actually going to be releasing, going ahead and adding some club head speed to this and swinging more to the right. So people always tell you, hey, swing to the right, it's going to fix your slice. Well, if I swing to the right and drag the handle through, I'm just going to swing to the right with the face open. That's going to give me that big block that I started out with the original problem with. Now we've fixed that root problem by releasing the face. Now you're going to feel more confident swinging to the right, and I really feel like I can go much, much farther to the right, and I know that ball is going to start coming back to the left. So it's a two-step process. If you just try to swing to the right, it's not going to happen. If you just try to release the club face, it's not going to happen because my hands are going to be over accelerating. But if I can put those two things together, slowing the hands down, releasing the club face is step number one. Step number two is then swing to the right. Then I can get that great draw that's really going to have a lot of distance. Now I have to be honest with you, this video is a great way to get started by slowing down those hands and releasing that club face at the right time. If I over accelerate the hands, I try to hold on, it's always going to give me a little bit of trouble. But it's going to be hit or miss. If you're struggling with that slice, you're going to try out these drills, you're going to have some great success, and then a few days later you're going to feel like it falls apart. And then you're going to have some success, and then you're going to feel like it falls apart. What you really need is a system to work through, and that's what I call the straight line release. Now in this video, I'm going to talk about how we can get that club to release out in front at the proper time. So having that face turn on over, having our club release in front of the golf ball, and that way the golf ball just gets in the way and we don't even have to worry about that anymore. That's what I call the straight line release. I'm going to play a preview of one of the best straight line release videos I have from the Top Speed Golf system. All you're going to want to do is just click that card on your screen or the link down below in the description. You'll get instant access to that video. You'll start releasing out in front and you're going to feel like contact just happens and the ball just gets in the way. It's a lot more effortless way to play golf. Let's go ahead and get started. Common misconception I see is that we want to create lag and we just want to hold that lag all the way on through contact and get as much lag as we can coming through contact, and that's simply not true. In the release section, we're going to talk about how to turn that lag into energy, how to turn that into speed so that you can hit it very far and do it, like we mentioned, without hardly any effort at all. And as we're coming through contact, we're going to fully release this angle as we're about 45 past contact. So if I draw, a 45-degree angle, I should be looking at both arms, nice and straight, the club splitting those arms, so that by releasing the club, by getting this angle to release as we're coming through contact, that's what's going to create the speed. Our hands are moving a very short distance, our club is moving a very long distance through contact, and it creates that whip-like effect. Very different swings hitting the exact same position. So first let's take a look at Dustin Johnson releasing the club 45 past. And the reason we're going to see such different swings producing similar positions is that this is the real physics of how this has to happen. Here we're looking at Sergio Garcia. Again, we're going to see tons